Excited for the guys. Very, very proud for the guys with the way they played Saturday night. Probably one of the more dominant performances that we've had as a football team, probably since I've been here. So a lot of goods. Last night when we watched the tape, a lot of good things, a lot of bad things that we still have to get corrected, and things that we can't do. But overall, very, very, very happy for the guys. Very proud for the guys. And now, obviously, other than a little bit of special teams cleanup from Saturday today that we'll do more from a technique standpoint, fundamental standpoint, we're moving on to UT Martin, always a tough opponent. Traditionally speaking, since I've been here, we've had a lot of good games with those guys, whether it be shootouts, whether it be low-scoring games in the rain, down to the wire games. So should make for a lot of fun. I know, Coach Simpson got the utmost respect for that guy. Does a tremendous job down there. Got very, very good players, and we've got to be ready for the challenge.
I was talking earlier, Scotty Humpick with the third sack, now leads the league in sacks. Talk about his elevation to what he's been able to do.
Yeah, just a very athletic guy. Works very hard. He's always a guy that hangs out after practice. He'll be down there on the goal post doing his defensive line moves, and all of that. Always in the weight room. He's a gym rat. Takes care of his body, very pleased that he can see some of the rewards for all that work, because he does work awfully hard, has had a lot of production here in the past couple of weeks, and very proud for him.
How much do you look at this heading into conference as kind of a second part of the season where these games count a whole lot more than the first game?
Well, we started that last week. Once we got off of our 2-week FBS stretch and headed into FCS play, we kind of started that mindset last week going into Morehead State, and just trying to turn a new page in the season and kind of reshift our focus to some of the games. They all matter because you only get 11 or 12 of them depending on your season. Football is a crazy sport, man. As far as when you look at how much you practice and prepare for games and how much you actually get to play. And I saw a cool stat probably, 3 weeks ago. It says if you take out all of the lining up formations, the moving parts, and you just focus on how much a player actually plays, right? Like from snap to whistle, the whole season boils down to about 12 minutes. And that's it when you talk per player. And so an awful lot of work goes into those 12 minutes. All of the season matters, but for us last week, kind of going into our FCS schedule, now obviously going into our OVC schedule, we do kind of turn the page a little bit. Our mindset shifts, and we just kind of refocus on some things going into these next couple of weeks.
What's the initial scout on UT Martin?
So we'll start offensively. Offensively, you have a lot of weapons. I think they've got two really good running backs, number 23, and I think the other one's number 5. Very explosive running backs. They rely heavily on their run game. Number 6, what's his name? Terry Williams, I think. Probably one of the more explosive kids that I've seen on tape at any level, on any team that we've played. He handles a lot of their return game for them as well. Very gutsy guy. He'll take his chances, especially in the return game. Very confident guy. At that slot receiver position, you've always got to have your eye on him. Got a good quarterback. He's a big kid. Can throw it around a little bit. I think it's very imperative that we get him off rhythm and make him a little uncomfortable. So that's going to be quite a challenge for our secondary guys, is to keep him off rhythm on some of those pass concepts that they like to run. Defensively, their first 3 defensive linemen are very, very good. Very, very good. The first 3 that they put out there are very big, very strong, very athletic. They do some different things from a schematic standpoint on the back end, and always have, that are just a little bit different. You don't see it very often. and they're very sound back there. Got a lot of good players on the back end, and they are physical. This is a game. This is a game that's going to come down to the most physical team, and I truly believe that. If you catch yourself standing around watching what's going on this week, you're going to get hit in the mouth by them. They are very, very physical, well coached. They tackle the ball very well, and they play exceptionally hard.
One of their running backs, Peyton Logan, is averaging almost 8 yards a carry. How dangerous is he?
Like I said, they rely heavily on that run game, and they've got two of them back there that you've got to be aware of. And they do some good things schematically with them, get them in good positions. They're both very good in open space, but they're big enough to run it down your throat too. It's very, very hard, to meet them in the hole and kind of meet them in the phone book. They have the power and explosiveness to run over you if you're not careful. So, like I said, it's going to boil down to who is the more physical football team, who's the toughest football team, and who doesn't get knocked back. And I'm excited to see our guys take on that challenge.
James Sappington has kind of hit the stat, and it's played some. Is he close to 100%, getting much closer?
No, I don't think. I think he's still got a ways to go for 100%. I think there's a lot of things that go into it. I think conditioning wise. There's nothing like game shape. You can run as many sprints as you want. You can lift as much weights as you want. Until you get in those games and you kind of get in the flow of your adrenaline and all of that type stuff, it's just hard to replicate that on your body. So I think he's working through that. I think he's still working on mentally, just kind of letting it rip a little bit and things like that. So, but we'll continue to add him to the fold. We'll continue to add on his volume during the week and get him to that 100%. It's like tonight, he won't practice tonight. We'll hold him out tonight and kind of get his reps during the middle of the week. And eventually we'll start to add where he can put collectively a whole week of practice together. But he's taking his stride. He's doing very well from a treatment standpoint, rehab standpoint, from a lifting standpoint. With a guy like that, it's just a matter of time before he has his day in the sun as well on offense.
From an offensive standpoint, where can this team get better? Where do you want to see the improvement between now and Saturday?
Everywhere. Our run game with our running backs has to improve. I think our quarterback's been the leading rusher 6 out of the last 7 weeks or something, going back to last season, the last couple of games last season. So we've got to get better on that front. We've still got to continue to get better from a turnover standpoint. We had another week last night where we had 0 turnovers. So I would like to see us consistently do that week in and week out and take care of the football. I think that we have to continue to spread the ball around. But with that being said, we also have to have somebody like a Tez Brooks step up and become a true playmaker for us, down in and down out, game in and game out. And that's kind of what we're waiting for now, is because we're doing everything by committee, which is great. I love that. But we're also waiting to see who's going to really, really separate themselves as the guy that you have to watch out for offensively as well.
Any new injuries from Saturday's game?
None. Other than Coach Vaughn. Coach Vaughn got rolled up on the sideline. I'm losing defensive coaches like crazy. I got my defensive coordinator. He coaches in a golf cart through the week because he's got a broke foot, and now my D-line coach dislocated his wrist. He'll have to have surgery at some point, but other than that, we're pretty good.
You talked about this rivalry game with you, Mark, at the beginning of the presser, as far as how crazy some of these games have been over the last couple of years, where like you said, high scoring, low scoring, and each team has kind of picked up their fair share of wins. Is that a testament to how maybe even these teams are, or how familiar these coaching staffs are with each other since you've been around for a while?
Yeah.
Coach Simpson has been around a while.
I don't know, probably a little bit of both. I think that I think that there are a lot of parallels with their roster and ours. I think we're constantly in recruiting battles with those guys, just because we're looking at the same type of kids, and demographically, we're looking at the same kids. We're going after the same kids because we are pretty close. The other part of it is is that we have a good relationship with that staff, a very intimate knowledge of what they do. They have a very intimate knowledge of what we do. They haven't changed a whole lot over the years. Defensively, their structure has been their structure for a long time. Offensively, they've tinkered with things and they've changed, some things from a year-to-year basis. But for the most part, philosophically, Simpson calls those plays, so they haven't changed a whole lot, and neither have we. So that probably plays into it, a little bit. And the other thing is our teams know one another. I mean, when we walk out there on the field, there's going to be 30 to 40 dudes on either side of the ball, on both sides of the fence right there that know one another, played high school ball with one another. Staffs recruited, their staff recruited a lot of my guys. My staff recruited a lot of their guys. So there is from a relationship standpoint, there is an intimate knowledge that both of these teams share.